Good evening, Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and I am here joined tonight with a special co-host. His first time being a co-host on the channel, and he couldn't be more welcome. We have Marcus from Surcam Stances comic book YouTube channel. How are you doing tonight, Marcus?
I'm excited, man. I get some cliff notes for my appearance next week, so I'm gonna be ready to go.
And thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate it. And of course, our guest of the hour, the man on the spot, showing us some nice comics. We have William Cuppy from Cup of Comics. How you doing, sir?
What's up? I'm doing all right.
So, as I like to do, the people that are going to pop in here in the chat, they're going to come here because they already know you. But for those watching on the rewind, give us a 2-minute version of who you are and what your channel's about, sir.
All right. So who I am is just somebody who loves comics and pop culture and collecting. What's up, Gene? Look, Bruce's. And I'm all about. I feel like we lost something during the pandemic, which was a connection to other people, and I'm really just all about connecting to other people. Comic Journey, what's up? And, I'm a big, Spider-Man fan. I'm a big fan of the 90s. And my channel is all about reflecting that. And it's all about the comics that are coming out, comics that are worth a quick look at, and just the stuff that reflects to my generation, which doesn't mean it's not part of your generation, but anything that connects to the comic culture. And I just appreciate everybody who shares in our appreciation of that.
Right, and even though that we've seen the market take a little dip back in the last couple weeks,
right,
it's still a fun place to be. There's no shortage of great stuff being made right now, and all the characters are as great as they ever were, regardless of the value that people are placing on them.
Oh yeah, and even if the market took a dip, honestly, a lot of us still kind of spec on comics, but I think it's really about what we enjoy and what we love. Like, even if the spec market dips, it should have been something you loved or enjoyed to begin with. So if you lost a little bit on a Spider-Man book or a Thor book or whatever it was, it should still be about your love for that book. And I get that we're in a spec market now, and you go to buy a certain book because you hope the value increases and you can make a profit off that, and that's great. But my collection is really about characters that I love, and if the price goes up, that's great, and if the price goes down, it sucks, but whatever. But it's still about these books or something I love because I own them, or I own them at some certain point.
Hey, I'm with you. And you're talking about a guy that'll buy a whole entire miniseries out of the dollar bin and read every book and think it's the greatest thing he's ever laid eyes on. I'm all about the story.
Yes. If you can't read the book, I don't, that's the biggest thing. I've had people call me like a hybrid speculator, whatever it is. I don't care what you call it, but if I can't read the book, I don't really care about the book. I have to be able to read it before I can even say it's worth selling or not selling. It's just, it needs to be in my collection.
Right. All right. So, having said that, let's get to your first book, man. Well, first of all, before we do that, how hard was it for you to pick 10 books that you wanted to show us this evening?
Oh my God, it was so hard. It literally up until maybe 10 minutes before we came on the air, I was still paring down books, because it's not just, it's like you said, and I will give Gary total credit for this. It's not about your top 10 books. And you could have top 10 books, but I don't think I would challenge anybody out there to completely tell me these are your top 10 books that I love indefinitely, and there's no other 10 books on top of that. It's really about just 10 books that represent you and who you are. And I think coming up with 10 books that I can show the comic community that I'm like, hey, this is a representation of what I am or who I am, is very difficult to come to. So these are just 10 books that are in my collection that I think are really cool, but it doesn't mean that these are 10 books that represent me to the extreme or to the fullest. These are just 10 books that I looked at and was like, I love these 10 books.
And I said 10, but we're actually talking 12 books because you got the one with a story and then a spec. So I misspoke on that.
So it's like 10
even harder.
Books. Then I got to tell you guys a story. And then hopefully I give you like a book to spec on. And that's the spec book too was.
And the story better be good or else we're trolling you on Instagram and YouTube for months.
Right.
The whole trail. It gets nasty.
I'm going to make a funny reel about you.
and you've seen Marcus's videos. He's got the talent for it. You know, I'll be over here Fred Flintstoning it with crayons and a big marker.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right. What's your first book there, Cuppy?
Oh man. So this is actually 10 cool books. All right. So this is Albedo number 3, Anthropomorphics. And this is actually the second appearance of, and I'm just going to take it out of the case because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who don't even know what I'm talking about. But if you turn this book around, boom, on the back cover, oh, there's Usagi Yojimbo. And this is the second appearance of Usagi Yojimbo.
Man, I thought you were about to come with the most random, and now I get it. Okay.
So this is my first book.
And that's a hard book to find too, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, very hard to find. Yeah. Very low print run. Second print. I mean, this book has no spine ticks. 9.8. It's probably $1,000 book. It's not graded. I'd say raw like this, probably $100 book. But yeah, I found this in a dollar bin maybe a year ago. So
nice.
Describe that feeling. Describe that feeling for the audience.
When I saw it, I actually I was digging through it. I saw it. I picked it up. I pulled it out. I held it in my hand and I was like, I have a feeling about this book because I knew Albedo number 2 was the first Usagi Yojimbo, and I said, you know what? I think this is something. And I knew it was something, and I at the very least I knew it was the second appearance of Usagi Yojimbo, and I literally turned it over, and there he was on the back cover.
Nice, and that's where being in this community, you kind of absorb some knowledge, and it comes every once in a while. You'll get like your little comic sense tingling when you're going through those back issues. Yeah, and I do have to shout out a big shout out to the comic community, because without them, like these kind of books sometimes would just just fly by your head. But I just know there's a lot of people out there who are Usagi Yojimbo fans, and I saw that book and I was like, I feel like
Comic Journey is ridiculous. Yeah, he was like, sir, I think that this book is underpriced. You might want to look this up and reprice it, sir.
Comic Journey would be the first one to have it shoved under his coat, running for the door. Yeah. There's nothing to see here.
No,
the hands going.
I literally found this at a warehouse where the highest price comic was $2. So even if I ran it to the front and said, hey, you have this listed at $1, they would have said it's $2. They didn't. It wasn't one of those places where they would have like repriced it at the register. So I was very grateful that. And later on, I told the owner, I said, "Hey, I found this book here. It's at least $100 book. And later on, if I get it graded and it comes back a 9.8, it's $1,000 book." And it's like, good for you. He's like,
and you know what?
Yeah,
that's how my LCS is. If they miss something and it's in those dollar bins or 50 cents and you get it, he's like, yeah, good for you, man. Have at it. Because he's really good at pricing, but everybody, you can't get everything. It's impossible. There's too much out there. Something's going to slip through the cracks. And that's where being someone that dives through those dollar bins, it pays off. And you do your due diligence and you're in there probably spending an hour to 2 hours sometimes just looking through these bins. Yeah. And that's where it's a killer when you get up to the counter and you got someone that wants to check eBay all of a sudden. It's like, nah, you just watch me dig for 2 hours. Whatever I have, you let me buy.
Never shop there.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, there's places I won't even walk back into again. Yeah. All right, number 2, good first book. See, that's what I love about this show, man. Everybody brings some different flavors here, like books we didn't see before. All right, bring out that Barbie #1.
Shout out to Comic Journey. Shout out to Comic Journey, a really nice guy, really stand-up gentleman.
No, and the guy, you know what? The guy at the comic shop didn't even care. He was like, he actually threw a bunch of other books in there. And he said, you know what? If anybody finds these books, good on them. So he had other spec books in the.
And you know what the thing with that is too, Cuppy, is these guys, man, they're buying collections at under a third of what a collection's worth. Like 2 or 3 books pay for that whole collection. Everything else they sell is just gravy on top of that.
Oh yeah, this guy definitely made profit on top. So
they don't really care when you find something good. Most of the time, and this is from a guy that is behind the scenes a lot, they just want to move inventory and clear more space.
Yeah, no, that's true. But let's get on to that first book. I mean, Comic Journey is going to definitely, he's going to live on this book for the rest of the...
That was the first book, Joe. It was the second appearance of Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah. All right. So here's the second book. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 794. This is during the Red Goblin run, whatever. But the thing about this book is, I don't know if you can see the 2
Dan Slott
on it. Yeah, so you got Dan Slott, right? And then you've got the great cover artist here. And I'm gonna pause just for a little bit to see if anybody can figure out who this cover artist is. Put it in the chat, because this is gonna give us a lot of
Is it Alex Ross?
Oh, there you go, Alex Ross.
No, I was gonna get it. I didn't know we could play.
But I was
sorry.
I was going to turn to the interior so you can see that. But for me, actually, Alex Ross is he was like a what do you call that? He was like a unicorn for me, right? Like that white unicorn to grab. Alex Ross. I actually had to pay to get this autograph. It was an extra like $50. Dan Slott was free, but Alex Ross was like $50. But thing was, we got to meet him. It was a panel. We got actually a free book, like a coffee table book with his artwork in it. You got to meet him for like 2 minutes. Chip Kidd was there, who also does a lot of covers. He does a lot of the I want to say like the cutout covers, like any cover you see from Marvel.
Oh, the die cuts.
Die cut.
Yes.
A lot of the die cut covers. But yeah, it was just a fun time. But for me, okay. That's positive from Comic Journey.
Can I trigger Comic Journey real quick?
Absolutely.
Alex Ross is no Scotty Young.
And you know what's funny is not so much. It's more prominent now than it was back in the day with the Bronze Age and Silver Age. But you have people now that are just cover artists. They don't do interiors.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. Alex Ross is definitely in that vein. He does a lot of but he does really well. He does them really well. I know
he does the Marvel's interiors, so I know he does some interiors, but
yeah. And my thing with Alex Ross is he does this cover doesn't show it off so much, but he does a lot with light.
Right.
So here you can see like these little, foggy things hiding off the side, but he does play around a lot with light. You got right here by the Dan Slott signature, you got like this kind of like little flare, but his big thing is light and dark, and he plays a lot with the contrast.
Well, Dan Slott picked a good place to sign it. Alex Ross should have did it in the bottom part of the lightning.
But yeah, and he's really hard. Alex Ross is really hard to get unless you got to pay big bucks. And I managed to get for $50. I got that, another book signed. I got his coffee table book signed, and I got a Black Panther print signed. So it was a good day to meet Alex Ross on that day. But yeah, otherwise he'll have booths at cons, but he'll charge like $50 a signature or something like that. And I got $50 and I got like 4 things signed. So
that's a little steep. 50 a sig if you're going up there. You should be able to bring like 4 books, and you give them the 50, you get all 4 signed.
Yeah, I mean, he signed 2 books, but he also signed, like I said, like his coffee table book, which was like a lot of his art just in one book. And he
Look,
also
his
signed
name is nice and short, Alex Ross. It's not like it's Bartholomew Buffalo Stumping or something, you know.
yeah, all right. But yeah, it was, and we also got like a little talk slash, Q&A with Alex
A little
Ross.
greet and meet.
A little greet and meet. So
what you got for number 3, sir?
here we go. Number 3. This is a classic for me, and I just thought I break it out. This is Spider-Man #1, signed by Todd McFarlane, or TM Farlane. So he very rarely does the Todd signature on a lot of things. And well, this was just, one of the books. But this for me was just a big book that, from my childhood, that I was like, you know what, this is really cool. I met him. He talked to me for when I got this book signed. I'm pretty sure he talked to me for about 20 minutes. I also got this free like Batmobile Spawn that it came with, but this was just a cool book in my collection. And this is one of my favorite series growing up. This was one of the first books that I really like collected growing up.
I mean, and that's one of the books that defined the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the silver, and it was just, all in all, it's just, for me, it's just a cool book to have. It's just this is an iconic Spider-Man cover. This cover has been replicated more times than any other cover.
Yeah, like almost every week.
Right.
That's my wheelhouse right there. That's my 90s child wheelhouse, that book right there. Love it.
Exactly. So
and I've seen a couple of those silver ones with the silver signing. So that's not the first one I've seen where he signed in silver. I think he pumped out a bunch of those.
Yeah, this one I actually got a New York Comic Con live and direct from him. So that was actually a pretty cool one to get. What I will say about that one too is if you watch some of my earlier videos and even today's live, this book usually lives on a wall behind me in another place that I record my videos. And if you watch today's live, it probably wasn't on the wall because I totally pulled it off. Because I was like, I need to bring this to tonight's nice. Show. So yeah, the 1011, had me change up my setup for tonight.
We're assholes like that.
I used to come home with me, so that was
number 4, sir. What have you got?
All right, number 4 is another pretty cool book with a lot of signatures. I got a lot of signatures on this one. So this is DK3, the Master Race, but this has Frank Miller, Klaus Janson.
Yeah, I count at least 4 SIGs on there, right?
Yeah, there's 4 SIGs. Adam Kubert and Brian Azzarello. Those are the 4 signatures on there.
Nice.
Yeah. So this was from this is also around the time of New York Comic Con in 2018, but this was at a Barnes and Noble. And with all
the SIGs on it?
Yeah, all the SIGs. Basically, it was a free signature, but if you got the they had a Dark Knight 1 reprint. If you bought that, you could talk to Frank Miller for like 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
The line of that cape is it is made for SIGs because those look great just going right down the road like that. Yeah, so this was a pretty good opportunity to get all these signatures. Funny story was I'm up there, I'm talking to my friend, and I'm like, what are we going to do after this? Blah, blah, blah. We should go out drinking. And Brian Azzarello was like, you should go to this place we were in New York City. He was like on West 14th Street, blah, blah. It's very quiet. Nobody's there. Cheap drinks, excellent stuff. And so we went there, and he ended up being there. And we talked to Brian Azzarello for like 5 minutes. He basically ran out real quick. Nice. I think a couple of people heard us, and then the word spread, and a lot of people showed up. But you blew his cover, huh?
Yeah, but he was there, and he was like, "Hey, good to see you," blah blah blah. And then a lot of people showed up. But yeah,
you're a bad wingman, Cuppy. You blew his cover.
I did. I blew his cover. But yeah, he's up. Frank Miller's up top, and then you got everybody else on the bottom. But Klaus Janson is on the very bottom. But yeah, that's a cool SIG in my my lineup.
I like how they look on that cover. That's nice, man.
Yeah, I was just telling him right down the spine of that cape with the shadow. It looks really nice.
Right. So that was a book that I was very, very proud to have, actually. And I mean, I don't, I don't know who's met Frank Miller in the recent, recent period of time, but he's doing all right, but he's not so great.
A
So
bit eccentric.
he looks a lot older than he should. If you put him and Stan Lee back to back together in the 2014.
I'm sure Frank's done his share of party, and that's taken its toll on the body.
Oh, totally.
Oh, all right. What you got for number 5 there, Cuppy?
All right, we're gonna keep going with the autograph stuff.
Sweet.
And we got this Mighty Thor #1, but signed and sketched by Walt Simonson.
Wow.
So yeah, not CGC'd or anything, but it's in a top loader. But basically, I went up to him and I said, "Hey, can you sign this book?" And he said, "Sure, I can sign it for you." And he's like, "Hey, would you like to donate to the Comic Book Defense Fund?" It was what it was at the time, and I said, "Sure, yeah." And I dropped a couple bucks in his cup, and then he's like, "All right," and he takes the book and he goes to sign it, and he's like, "What's your favorite character?" And I gave him a Thor book, so I was like, "Well, for that book," I said Thor, and literally, I would say 5 to 7 minutes later, this is what I got back from him.
Yeah, that's crazy. You got Comic Journey trolling you too, saying they forgot to color that one. Don't let them get under your skin.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Walt didn't have his colorist that day, so I'll bring it back to him.
Tell him Envy will get him nowhere.
I'll bring it back to him, this Comic-Con and let him know. But yeah, this is definitely a pretty awesome book. This is one that I thought about telling the story behind,
and if you're gonna get a Walt Simonson signature and sketch, what better than the character that he's synonymous with?
Exactly.
I mean, his Thor runs legendary, so
right, exactly. So this was definitely a pleasant surprise for me because people go to cons and spend hundreds of bucks or even $100 on a head sketch, and I gave Walt maybe $20 and I got this from him. So
see, that's a guy who knows how to play to his fandom.
That's a steal, man.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's a steal. And I love, so here's a funny story. I know an artist, and he's often in an artist alley. The last couple of years he hasn't done anything that's brought him great accolades, but a couple of years ago he did a book that was I'm not going to put his name out there, but he did a book that brought him some buzz, and Walt came up and talked to him, and it was me and my buddy Eric. I remember this was New York Comic-Con in like 2015, and we're just hanging out with him and we're talking blah blah blah, and this guy comes up, glasses, whatever, and older gentleman, he's talking to all of us, and we're like da, 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 da. And we're like, oh, awesome, but had a good conversation about comics. He walks away, and our buddy who's an artist talks to us, and it's like, hey, that was Walt Simonson? And we're like, what? And this was like before it was big to go on Google up artists and see what they were or whatever it was. And we're like, oh, that was Walt Simonson. Oh, and every year since then, I've been a big oh, hey, Walt, I know you like and whatever. And we talk, but yeah, ever since then. And his wife, Louise, or Wheezy, as he called her, Simonson, she's also a great person just to talk to, and she did a lot of stuff. She was the editor on Web of Spider-Man and stuff like that. But the Simonson clan they're cool people.
This is why I try to really pay attention to what these creators look like, so I do not walk by them and not know.
Right.
And I keep thinking there's got to be a Todd McFarlane signing somewhere, because the last issue of Spawn, tons of blank covers.
Yeah, Yeah, they even did the what they redid Spawn 1
Spawn
with
number
the
one.
blank,
Yep.
Yeah.
with the
It
About
had,
blank.
five
yeah,
of them.
just blanks. I mean, you got
Yeah.
the reprint, the first cover on the inside jacket, a
Right.
couple pages in, but
Yeah.
all right, number 6, sir.
Number 6. All right. So as we all know, well, Neil Adams passed away recently, and this was a book that I had signed by him. I'm gonna
Ooh.
see if you
I've
can.
never seen that cover either.
Wow.
That
So
one
this,
mask looks like Ronald Reagan almost.
yeah. So this is, and here's a certificate of authenticity from Midtown Comics, but
Okay.
Neil Adams. But this is the first Superman cover that Neil Adams ever did.
Oh.
And
Wow.
so when I was there, actually, the representatives at Midtown Comics said, "Can we take a picture of your book?" And I said, "Sure." So they have it for any archival purposes they want. But yeah, this is the first Neil Adams Superman cover, Action Comics cover that he ever. As I-
Oh, be careful.
I know, right?
yeah, that he ever did. And if you look up here, there's actually a chip here, up here. And when I took it out of the casing, that's where I grabbed the book, and that part literally fell off. And it's in the back. It's in the book. You can't see it because it's not here. But that little chip that came off is in the back of the bag behind the comic because I was like, "Oh no!" and I threw it behind.
Well, it doesn't matter. You got his signature on there, and
Yeah. So this is Neil Adams. Luckily I got him, before he passed, but this was at Midtown Comics.
you got Comic Journey asking you what issue number that is again.
Oh, this is issue number 374. Action Comics 374.
We'll put it in the chat.
Crazy to think they were at 12 cents and they were already at 370.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nuts.
Because a few years ago we bought issue 1000 of Action Comics or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah.
I just sent a 1,000 out in a prize box to somebody.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, number 7, sir.
Number 7. All right, number 7. We're bringing back Todd, the guy McFarlane, for Spawn number 300. This is the gold cover.
The record-breaking 300.
The record-breaking 300. This is a gold cover, limited to 500. Print count.
Run.
Yeah, there's a 500 print count on this one.
Oh,
for the
man,
gold
I
cover.
can't see. That's so bright. I can't even see.
So,
and of course, the ASM 300 homage.
yes, as always. Another one of the big homage covers. But
Hey, Chop.
what's up, Chop? It's my man. What's up, Daniel? Yeah, so this one, I basically had to show up at, again, New York Comic Con. I think I showed up at like 6 a.m. to get online for this one.
And you got in, and you walked in at what time?
I got there at 6 a.m. I got in at like 10:30.
That's dedication.
Ooh.
That's dedication, folks.
Did he
Are you
talk to you for a few minutes again at least?
So here's the big thing about this one. I got this book, right? I got it. So I walked in. All right.
Where's the moderators at? Let's get rid of.
I just blocked them.
There we go.
All right. I got here at 6 a.m. Walked in at like 10:30 a.m. and didn't get his signature until roughly, I want to say 2 p.m. So basically,
Man. Do you even comic book, bro?
Right? It was basically about an 8-hour process to get this book, and then I also had to take it to CGC. I had to get them to grade.
They gave you the book for free though for your troubles, right?
It was actually only I think I paid $50 for this total.
That's a lot less than I thought. That is a lot.
Right, that's pretty cheap for that.
It was.
Yeah, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just making some moderators here, so I have a couple more in the chat.
Oh no, yeah, it's fine. It was $50 for that, and whatever it goes for, whatever it goes for today. I don't think I'd ever sell it. It was 1 per. Funny story behind that is they had it Thursday, and they had the book Friday, and I got that book on Sunday, and they said Saturday. They were like, no. The crowd and the rush and everybody and people fighting and whatever, They're like, we're done. Like, and I showed up Thursday, I showed up Friday, didn't get it. Showed up Saturday. They're like, we're not even doing it. You know, F off. And then they put out like a Instagram message that was like, hey, we're doing it on Sunday. Find the place, whatever. And I happen to have a person who kind of worked at Javits Center, which is where the New York Comic Con is. And I said, hey, they're going to do this Todd McFarlane thing. I don't need you to do anything but tell me where it might possibly be. And they said, in the basement, it's going to be in this section where they do autographs. Good luck. And I said, thank you. I said, thank you.
Instilling that confidence in you, huh? Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. And I said, thank you.
How about it?
Yeah. I showed up early. I actually had a special 4-day pro pass because I work in the education field. So I managed to get this pro pass. I spoke to a guy, said, hey, I'm looking for the signing for McFarlane. Where is it? And he said it's over there. He's like, but you got to get on this line. And he pointed the line, and I already had the line. Like my friends were already on the line. And I said, okay. I said, is that also for the pro pass? He's like, oh, you're a pro pass. He's like, yeah, go whatever you want. And I said, what? And he said, no. Yeah. He's like, I just got to tell regular people with passes where to go. And I was like, wait. So you're telling me pro pass can go wherever? And he said, yeah, you can go wherever you want. And I said, exactly what Colt said. Let's go. So I walked right by him. And I walked into the line, and I still had to wait, another like 5 hours for.
You didn't yell like, Todd, remember me? We met before. Yeah. We're besties.
No, yeah. So I actually walked online. I think it was actually number 3. I wasn't even number 1. I was like number 3 online, and I still had to wait like another, 4 hours for Todd to show up and for that whole process to happen. But for like $50.
Did he come in like Elvis with an entourage?
Right. Yeah. No, he walked with like 2 people. One person was telling him where to go, and the other person had his Sharpies. Like Todd is a pro. Like he knows where he's going. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's a good ambassador. I know people pick on him, but he's a great comics ambassador.
I think so. And I think the only reason we paid $50 was because that was the price that Todd set. I think if CGC set the price, it would have been like a lot more. But Todd was like, yo,
well, because Todd does care about the fans. That's why he tries not to raise the price of the Spawn book.
Respect to the Todd father.
Yeah. So I don't know if Todd just didn't even take a cut or whatever, but he was like, the price is $50 regardless of what it is. So I don't know if he even got a cut or CGC said, whatever you want to charge, it's okay. But it was $50 and I got this book. So I'm not complaining.
Right.
And I think it says, no, it doesn't say, it just says a second print gold foil edition, which is where CGC, I think, got it wrong, but whatever. You probably can't focus in on that, but up here somewhere it just says second print, which is not the second print. Because if you look at issue number 300, you can go on CLZ or Key Collector or whatever. Like they have 1 million of these books of 300, and that is the gold edition 500 print is not the second print.
Right.
I don't know, man. My understanding is that CGC never gets it wrong, so I don't know.
Right? CGC is the gold standard. So obviously with the gold book, they got it right. So
what you got for number 8, buddy?
All right, number 8. Here we go. This is I got this a few weeks ago. And this is
oh, it's a slab. You can hear the slab.
Yeah, and this is the tied for the first appearance of the Black Costume.
Ooh, nice.
Marvel team up.
Good grade too, a 9.2.
Yeah, 9.2, 141. I'll show you right here. It said I paid $200 for it. I got a little bit off of it. So let's say I paid $180 for it. Anybody, let's say I paid $180 for it. But so this was not directly out of my collection. And very rarely do I not send anything in.
Right.
That's not out of my collection, but what's up, Louis? This was one of the few books that I was just like, you know what? I need to get it before, sometimes you just have a premonition that books might go up, whatever, or 180 is a good price. I think 180 is a good price because I've checked, eBay and other.
And 9.2 is still a near mint grade.
Yeah. And this is also, not that I haven't checked the era, but it's also a newsstand. I think this was during the era where newsstands were actually more rare than more printed.
Right.
But yeah, this was just a book that I just had to have in my collection. Being that this was one of the first books that got me to collect comics. Not that this particular book, but the Black Costume Spider-Man,
right,
was the one that really.
I think most of us remember reading Secret Wars back in the day, and we probably remember it more fondly than it deserves because I've reread it a couple times, and it's good, but it's not as great as you remember it when you were a kid. That one
Right.
didn't weather time as well as it should have.
No, but I think it's still.
But it's still great fun.
It's still a really good book, and
it's got a few of my favorite characters in it, like the first Julia Carpenter, who I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, so you got Spider-Woman in there, but I think
Titania fighting She-Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. But this is probably the least favorite of the Black Costume Spider-Man, but I still felt like I needed to have.
I don't know about that. Everyone as far as I've met in the community, everybody loves that book.
I love it.
Because I would say like ASM and Secret Wars are probably bigger covers than that one.
Secret Wars cover is bigger,
yeah.
I don't have that one. I won the Secret Wars one. I got it, but it's a mid grade, but I still have it, so I can say it's there. But all right, number 9, Cuppy.
Well, in case there was an argument about.
There you go, 252.
Yeah, so I got that ASM, and this is tied for the black, Black Spider-Man cover, black suit, and I personally I feel like this is a bigger cover than the other one.
And Dueling 9.2 as well. That also has the AF-15 homage to it as well.
Exactly, in the black cover. But yeah, this is another one that's another cool cover I have in my collection, and I felt like I had this one first, and I was like, I need this one to complete the collection.
See, he's saying Spectacular's the least loved one. That's the one with the black cat on the cover, but I love that book. I got 2 of that one.
Oh, that's a sweet one.
Got to have the black cat. I think I got it in newsstand and direct. But now, is that one a newsie too?
No. So this one is. I wish I would have grabbed it. I have a newsie and I have a. So just like your Conans, I try to collect both.
Right?
Your Conan.
You got to, right? But it's your favorite character.
So I have a newsie, also CGC'd, but it's an 8.5. So I brought the 9.2 because I had another 9.2, but I should have grabbed the 8.5 to show I had both of them. But yeah, we don't have all nights. Otherwise, I'd run upstairs and grab it. But yeah, I know I do have a newsie 8.5 of this cover.
Nice. Hey, so there's slabs I got double of, so nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it. And if you can grab both the newsie and the direct sales, I think it's awesome to have both.
Right.
So I'm looking forward.
Especially when you're a collector, it just gives you that extra little jolt.
Exactly.
Number 10, sir.
All right, number 10. Again, another slab. Boom. We're going with.
Nice.
And this one is a newsie, so it makes me wish I grabbed my other newsie. But I was trying to keep them all in the 9.2. I went with the grade instead of the, newsie or
And who signed it?
So this is Mike Zeck and John Beatty.
Mike Zeck's got one of the best SIGs in the business.
Right. So Beatty, you see there on the bottom, and then there's the Zeck signature. But yeah, so this is the book that kind of drew me into collecting when I was a kid, honestly. So this was one of the first covers I saw, and I would say Marvel, Secret Wars, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, the whole toy line. I had well, we'll get into that in a second, but yeah, the toy line and then this book all kind of drew me into comic collecting. It was the toys first and then the comics. And I was like, I had some of the toys and I said, hey, And the toys came later, honestly, because this was in '84, and by then I wasn't really even old enough to understand. You know, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the '84.
I was 14.
All right. but I would say 5 years after this, I would say I was in the, you know, the recognizing the toys and getting the Spider-Man, the Doc Ock and Doctor Doom and the Hulk and the Captain America toys and all that other stuff. And I got a lot of the toys, and I was like, hey, I saw this at a thrift shop. I think my dad went to go get like an ottoman or something, and I was like, "Hey, can I get some comics?" And he said, "Sure." And this was one of the books I pulled off of that the rack of comics they had, and I feel like I'm telling the story for the books we have stories about. But anyway,
that's what this is about.
yeah. But yeah, I got that book, and that was this is one of the books that kind of set me on my journey into the comic collecting. And I mean, if you look at that Zek signature here, which is it's in the glare now, but yeah, that's just
amazing.
Awesome signature. And then yeah, Beatty's on the bottom. But yeah, it was definitely one of the first books that really sparked, and it was all based off those toys. And I said we'll talk about the toys later, but I had a toy chest full of those toys, and you know, I went away to college, and you know, I did my Toy Story thing, and my mom one day was like, "Oh, you don't need these toys," and like dumped them.
Oh.
And yeah, and all the Marvel superheroes and all the Transformers and all the GI Joes, you know, they're in there.
And for all of you guys out there that collect toys, I'm thinking of every once in a while, for those of you that are interested, I every once in a while I'll do a toy highlight special like I did with Keep On Collecting, where you can just bring your toys on and talk about some of your favorite toys, because they're fun. They're part of your childhood and part of what drives you to the hobby as well.
Yeah.
And those Saturday morning cartoons, right?
Oh my gosh, love the
Some
setting.
of the best times of my life, right there.
I mean, I feel bad that our kids don't get that anticipation like we used to, when it was like once a week. Everyone, your mom, your dad sleeping, you're up with your bowl of cereal, you're already in front of the TV waiting for your favorite shows to come on, and it was just a fun time.
I don't feel bad for them at all. They get to watch whatever they want, whenever they want.
They do.
Screw them.
I remember waking up at like 5 a.m. and my dad was like, "Why don't you sleep?" And I was like, "Cartoons are on. Like, let's go."
Right?
Like, it was, yeah, there was no, oh man. And Shop says, love the Wolverine toy with the slip-on claws. I had that toy, and all those toys, man, I just die every time. Die a little bit inside every time I remember that toy chest that my mom threw away. All those toys. Remember, if you go away to college, like lock that toy chest to the ground, put, you know, master locks on the door. Right. Don't let those toys go anywhere.
Super glue it to the floor so she can't lift it.
Yeah. Oh man, but that was rough.
Yes, Thundar the Barbarian, one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, Thundar was good. Oh man.
And Freaky Louie says it best. We're all homesick for a time that doesn't exist anymore.
Muppet Babies for me.
Muppet Babies was Muppet Babies.
Yeah, they had to get up at 8 a.m. to catch that show. It's serious business.
And it's funny, right, guys? Like we can instantly recall all our favorite cartoons, their entire theme song. We can run it right through our head.
Yeah, Trevor Shipping Grew.
Don't make me sing it.
He was saying, a lot of
shows. You know, a lot are like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends hasn't aged well, but I'll still watch it beginning to end and love every episode, even though I know it's super campy now.
Firestar and Iceman, like
dude, that's that, and Firestar was introduced on that show, and I love that character Angelica Jones ever since. I have a whole collection of like books that are just her focused. I have both her first appearances, her first appearance in comics, her first appearance in continuity, which are two different books.
Right.
But Spider-Man, His Amazing Friends, just, I mean, and how cool was Iceman in that show?
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was.
Always pining after Angelica, never getting anywhere.
Yeah. Nowhere. What do you get? Nothing.
Well, and they had Dracula on that show in an episode, and they did some crazy stuff on that.
They did.
All right, so 11th with a story, Cuppy.
11th with the story.
I feel like we haven't heard you talk about anything yet tonight, so let's get to one with the story.
Right. This might be the quickest story because you probably
wore yourself out, huh?
Yeah. Well, most people who have been here have already heard about this.
We warned you about getting too excited too quick, Cuppy.
No, it always happens. I always blow it too soon. But anyway, this guy right here. This is my favorite. I mean, you can't beat your first meeting with Stan Lee. And so there's that.
And a Garcon cover too.
Yeah. And yeah, the first story is behind the book getting signed. And basically what happened was after a couple years of probably 2 or 3 years, just being a starving college student, we all know you don't have a lot of money. And it was like, we would go to Comic-Con every year. It was me and my buddy, Eric, go to Comic-Con every year. And you'd always hear the story of, yeah, Stan Lee's going to be there. If you can find him here, there, whatever, you can get him to sign a book, blah, blah, blah. We tried every year. Never worked out. It was always a line of 200, 300, 400, and, you'd never get there. They'd be like, all right, we're cutting the line off here, blah, blah. Finally, one year we go, and I managed to save up some money. And it was right before it kind of blew up. So, not that it blew up a lot, but it blew up. It was right before it blew up enough that, you're like, oh, this is unaffordable. But I think it was 93 or something like that. Not 93, sorry. 2003, they said it was $75. If you want to get a signature from Stan Lee, give us $75. It was right next to the Marvel booth. You can, meet him, get a signature, blah, blah, blah. And me and my buddy Eric were like, you know what? We got to make a business decision. The man's in his 90s. And you got to make a decision. Do you want to pay or do you want to hope that one day on the cheap, you just bump into him and he signs the book? And we said, you know what? Let's pay the $75. Let's guarantee that we meet him and let's do it. And by far, best investment I ever made, the $75, threw it in. But we showed up the day of the signature and the Marvel booth was mad. They were like, you oversold tickets, yelling at the Stan Lee booth. And they're like, it's Stan Lee. What do you want us to do? Blah, blah. And they were like, all right, if you have, if you have ticket number 1 through, let's say 5,000, stay on the line. If you have 5,000 plus, we'll see you at 4:00. And we had ticket 6,000 and change. And I was like, hey, I'm not big for confrontation. So I said to my friend Eric, I was like, oh, let's come back at 4. And he's like, fuck no. It's Stan Lee. We're staying on this line. He's like, you can leave if you want. And he was like, no, you can't leave either. You're here with me. We're staying on this line. We're not going anywhere. So
how does Stan?
He said 5,000 plus, and he's like, and he's like, what's your point?
How did he even sign that many in a day? That's insane.
Yeah. So he's like, stay on this line. And also, we were in the first 30 people. So he was like, we're not going anywhere. Stay on this line. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna try. Because what's the worst that's gonna happen? We're gonna come back at 4:00. So,
right. But you paid your 75.
Paid my $75 like everybody else. So I was like, all right, we're gonna stay on this line. Apparently they sold 10,000 tickets for the day, and the man's 90. So that was also part of my friend's rationale. He's like, there's no way he's signing that many signatures.
Right.
His hand's gonna cramp up, fall off, whatever. The man's gonna pass out on the table. Done. So I was like, all right, we're gonna stay here. And it was the best decision he's ever made. I should buy that man a beer every day of his life. Because we waited there and we get up to the guy, and the guy's looking at tickets. He takes our tickets, doesn't even look at them. He's looking at the other ones. He's like, you going. Gets to ours, grabs both tickets. He's like, all right, go. And then there's this huge 6'7" guy. He's like, yeah, put your book on the table and wait over there and we'll get you your book. And so my friend's like, fuck this shit. And goes up and he's like, hey, what's up, Stan? Whatever. And the guys, like the security guards are like, oh, that's what we said not to do. And like, you know, he gets his book signed, but like rush him off. And so like I walk up and it's just me and Stan now. And I'm like, you know, and I didn't do that at the time, but I was going to be like, thank you, because there was nobody there. And I was like, Stan, I'm a big fan. Thank you so much. Big part of my childhood, all this, blah, blah, blah. And he just looks at me with his big smile. And he's just like, no, thank you for being a fan and appreciating what we did. Sign my book. And the security guard came back and he's like, get a move, buddy. And I was just like, thank you so much. And I like walked away.
Mission accomplished, baby.
Did he give you an Excelsior? Excelsior.
You know, yeah, I wish, but no, but I wish he did. But yeah, it was just the fact that I was able to thank him, and then he said thank you to me, that it just made it so much, you know, so much the words. But yeah, it just made it so special to me. And so I got the signature. It was never like, you know, never graded, no whatever. I knew what it was. So the second part of the story is I sent this into CBCS at the time because
signature verification.
I knew they did the verification right through Beckett. So I sent it in, and there's a box you can check when you send it in that says slab it regardless of verification. And I was so sure, like I was there. And I knew the whole story, and I knew Stan Lee like had talked to me for, you know, whatever it was, 5 seconds, if you will. I usually, when I tell the story, I say like, you know, 2 minutes, but it literally was like 5 seconds. You know, if I say 30 seconds,
nice.
Yeah,
I respect it. I respect it.
I know you got like the guards next to him. Just tap and Stan, say the words. Thank you for supporting the hobby.
Yeah,
comes out.
Yeah. But no, like I actually said my words to him, and he said his words back, and that was enough for me. But yeah, I knew it. So I clicked the box and said, I don't care whether you verify it or not. Put it in the slab. And then they sent it back, and it came back with the blue label that said unverified. And I was crestfallen. But if you watch the video, like I'm all right. Like it seems like I'm all right with it. I'm like, which is kind of my demeanor. Like, you know, most times, even if you disappoint me, I'll be like, I'm cool with it, whatever.
You know, and I think I saw that video too.
Yeah. So, it came back, and I was like, whatever. And I was like, yeah, this story's not done. Obviously, I'm gonna send it back again and be like, yo, I was there for the whole thing. So I send them like, and maybe one day I'll put it up here. I'll show you the letter I sent. It was like a page and a half, and it was like, hey, this is the story. I went to the convention in this year, and I met, you know, Stan, and I don't know why it's unverified, but I met him and he signed it, and it means a lot to me. And I don't plan on selling this book like ever. And I just gave him like this whole story behind the book. And the guy, like one of the managers at CBCS, said, hey, listen, we're gonna send it back for you free of charge. Send it in. We're gonna send it back to Beckett. They're gonna really look at the book. You know, not just put it through a machine, but we'll have somebody like actually like look at the book. And I replied like, thank you so much. Da, da, da. I send the book back in, and, you know, they send it off to Beckett, and it was like a 6-week process, whatever it was. And the guy said, hey, I get an email back from them. I wasn't expecting an email back. I just expected to send the book out and then get it back. And the guy sent the book out. He's like, hey, it's at Beckett right now. They're you know, doing their best to verify it. And when it's done, we'll send it back to you. Thank you for your business. You know, the whole thing. He didn't have to like send that reply. Like, you know, after he said, we'll re-verify it, you know, they could have been done with it. But he, like, I think he really felt like, you know, the vibe I was sending him, like, this book means a lot to me, and I'd really appreciate it if you can, like, for my own, you know, purposes, just verify that Stan actually signed it. Like, I don't want it in this slab if it's not, you know, I know the true story behind it, but do you? And they did. And and then he's like, you should get it back within the week. Didn't really tell me whether they verified it or not, but they never sent the bill to me. And that was the big thing. They were going to send a bill to me if they couldn't verify it. They were like, well, we're we're going to send you another bill for another verification. They never did. And the book came back, and it came back verified, which was great. And I love it. The only thing that they didn't do was after they broke it out of the slab and re-verified it was regraded. So it was a 7.5 ungraded, which got a downgrade because they just considered it scribble on the front. And this book theoretically would be higher than a 7.5 if they had regraded it after the stand signature. I don't know how much of a bump it would have been once the signature was verified, but
right.
that this is an 8 to like an 8.5 book with and the point is, I'm not selling this book. If I was selling it, I'd probably send it back and be like, could you regrade it? You've already verified it. And it, maybe even have them press it and it would come back whatever it is. But the point is, I'll probably never, and by probably, I will never sell this book. So it doesn't matter about the grade, but the fact that they gave me the yellow label for the verified for the Stanley means a lot to me.
I think you were right not to press your luck there, buddy.
Yeah. Right.
You got the verification, take it and run.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I mean, the biggest thing is I know for a fact that I met Stanley, and I just didn't. I've had books, you put them in a box, you move. Sometimes the box disappears. Sometimes books slide underneath other books and get bent, whatever. My thing was I never wanted anything to happen to this book beyond what it was when I got it signed by Stan. So that's why I put this in a slab. If I ever want to read a 700 again, I'll go on an app or I'll go buy another version, another copy of this. I don't care. It's a $25, $30 book. I'll buy another copy of this. But yeah, it's just staring at it. It's
okay. That's what makes the hobby great, dude.
Yeah, this is a book that I will never, ever, this is, if I ever have to sell my collection, that's the one book that'll stay with me.
You're making me nervous waving it all around. I'm like, oh man, if he drops that, we're going to see him cry live. and I'll cry with him.
Real tears. So yeah, but that is my that's my story, and I think I will always tell that story if anybody ever asked me for a story with.
It's a great one, Cuppy.
Yeah, that's
and you got your verification at the end.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't expect it. You start to tell that story, and you really don't expect a happy ending. I didn't expect to have. I mean, I could see the happy ending, but other than that, I would not have expected it.
Right.
Yeah. So, kudos to them for actually going through the trouble to do it for you.
They did, and it was totally a free process, like to have them regraded. I mean, they
move.
Yeah, they said they didn't charge me for the shipping there, like they paid for everything, and they said, hey, if it doesn't come back verified again, you'll have to pay some fees. And I said, you know what, do it because I believe in that book. And they did it, and they said, hey, it's verified, and I didn't pay anything. They didn't want to pay anything. They could have said, yeah, that book doesn't pass enough. And, I would have paid whatever. But, yeah, they did it for me. And you know what? A lot of people pick CGC over CBS, but CBCS. But I think CBCS has a lot of good qualities to their
they do.
And
my last submission just came back, and I finally have a bone to pick with them, but that's for another video.
But I feel like
I love CBCS.
Yeah,
but I can't believe how much they're raising their prices. They're going to kill the hobby for us casual collectors.
Yeah, it's
grading.
Yeah, the grading stuff is getting harder and harder. But I mean, their slabs are a tank.
They're awesome. They feel good. They're solid. They look great.
I don't worry about them. But yeah, I mean,
I don't need the white sticker to think it's a pretty slab.
Yeah, and the big thing with both companies is just it's the whole collector versus spec person.
Yeah.
And obviously they want to make their money off the spec books too, speculators too. So
well, speaking of speculation, I mean, what a segue, Cuppy. It's like you're a professional. What is your spec pick of the evening, sir?
Oh man, I had a lot of books to choose from, and I literally have a pile right here of like 6 books that I was like, oh, I don't know which one to pick from. But I'm gonna give you guys, I think, this one. We're gonna go with Champions #1. And this is the Newberry Comics exclusive. This one you could still pretty much find if you go to a Newberry for a cover price. But the thing I'm thinking about Champions is, what do you got here? You got Miss Marvel, right?
Yep, Sam Alexander.
And you do have Miles Morales, which is $1,000 book right now, right? And you got the girl with the current TV show. Then you've got you got that Hulk guy right here who's gonna, be part of, Amadeus Cho, rumored to be a part of other shows, right? You got Nova, who's a lot of people are speculating on which Nova book to get these days.
We need Richard Rider before we get Sam Alexander.
Right?
You need the older Nova to teach the young Nova. You need like that father-son relationship between the two.
I agree. You need that, but I feel like this is part of it. You got Viz Vision, right? So
comic journey with the eagle eye.
So this one was all about you coloring your own cover. But anyway, I think Champions #1 is a good one because we've already had the Avengers. And I think with the way that with Disney Plus, the way they're going is they can introduce a lot of these younger characters, and then eventually they can put all these characters in the
Avengers West Coast.
Right, because we're not going to get the original champions with Hulk and Angel and we're not and Ghost Rider. We're not getting that. We're going to get that. We're going to get those champions.
Exactly. So,
I don't know if you guys are watching it, but Miss Marvel is just a charming show. Like every episode, I got a smile all the way through, especially when all of her family's on screen. It's so great.
It's so good, and it's. I was worried that it would be a little bit too, like it was Disney, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be like too Hannah Montana or too, just too childish, and they've managed to balance it just in a way that like the younger generation can connect with it, the older generation can connect with it, and the middle generation can connect with it. Right. It just, in some way, it just manages to span everything we have out there. So it's not so.
And I did hear some people complaining about the sketching and all the stuff going on. I actually think that enhances the show. It gives it a freshness that is just really nice to experience. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
We lost Cuppy. What? Looks like you went this. I wonder if his phone cut out on him. We'll give him a moment here, guys, because I don't want to sign off without getting Cuppy back on. But Marcus,
that's me.
You're the follow-up guy next week, sir.
Yeah.
Have you started looking through your books yet?
I have not. I'll probably wait till the day before. I can't really do things until I have that procrastination pressure hitting me, and then I can really get things done.
And we got Biggie Shack is going to be on July 19th.
The man,
after you.
Be ready for that. That man's going to be packing some heat right there. He's going to put me to shame. I already know.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to be out here with my little baby guns, though. I'm going to do my best, though.
Right. I know. Well, he just got his X-Men 1, too.
I know. I saw that stream, man. I saw that stream. That's lit, man. That's big boy collecting right there. I'm not on that level just yet.
Yeah, you and me either, Marcus. I'm not on that level at all.
Yeah, I don't play above the rim like that. Gee, I'm down here with the common folk. But I had a blast at Heroes Con, man. I put up a video just tonight. Spent about 2 damn days editing that thing. So go check that out when we're done here. Tell them
a little bit about it, Marcus. Promote it.
So, yeah, man, I had a great time. Got to hang out with a bunch of comic book YouTubers. So I really enjoyed it. Everybody was super cool. God, I could go. I spent all day naming all the people I talked to, but Pocan Joe in the chat, he was super fun to hang out with as always. I got to hang out with him in Kansas City for Planet Comic Con as well, and he's back. So back to the man of the hour.
Yeah, Pocan Joe is he's a great dude.
Yeah, check out my video though to learn more. I go deep into it. I give you the play-by-play, night by night, drink by drink. So go check it out.
Excellent. So guys, Marcus's links to his channel are in the description below, as are Cuppy's. So make sure you, if you haven't checked out their channels, make sure you guys are going into the description. I have their YouTube links and their Instagram links. Give them a follow. And Pocan Joe is another guy we got to get on this show so he can show some.
Oh man, I want to be around for that one. That dude's
his in the hot seat was great. What a fun time talking to him. Oh, he's in the audience. Here we go.
Yeah, that's the man right there.
You know, if I knew he was here, we could have talked some smack first.
Man, somebody that's so talented needs to be smack talked a little bit. You got to bring him the high horse.
He does. I mean, a man that's smart and knows that much, you do need to check his ego. Yes.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Were you going out like a boss, Cuppy? Is that what that was about?
Yeah, I was like, top of the man. Peace. Yeah. No, actually, when you move into a new place, you should make sure that all the wall outlets work. So when you plug in your laptop into it, it actually charges as you go. And literally, my laptop was like, "Yo, you're out of juice," and it was like, "Peace." And then I was like, "There are 2 outlets there."
Hey, what up, fantastic?
We are going to go around the horn here before we say goodbye. And so, Marcus, you just spoke a little bit. What else is coming up on your channel, Marcus?
Yesterday, I dropped my preview. It was a little late because I was in North Carolina for the con, but I did drop my preview of this week's new comic book day yesterday. My top 10. I like to bring the editing and the music, and my main focus is highlighting the talent behind the books that I'm picking this week. So I always know what they look like. So I never walk past them at a con without telling them what's up and knowing exactly who they are. So definitely lock in on that if you're trying to check out pictures of the talent behind the books. And then, every Saturday I have that video that I do highlighting the next week's comic books. And then watch for more lives here coming soon. And then I will be in the cup seat next week, Tuesday. So watch for me next week on this channel.
That's right. All right. And Cuppy, what's coming up on your channel, sir?
Well, earlier today, I did a comic preview show. So anybody who wants to check that out, if the book's coming out this week, go ahead and check that out. You will see somebody knock on my door as I'm doing it because I did it from work. And I was like, give me a minute. And then I speed through the rest of the books coming out this week before I go back to work. So
nice.
That was fun. And then you'll see my new comic book haul this week. I've been ordering spec books that I thought might pop. I'm trying to see if I have a box from one of them. It's all over there. I'm not gonna grab it. But usually I'll order some books. Thank you, Trev. I order some books that I think might do well in the future. And so I do a price comparison of what they were when I got them versus what they are worth now. And then at the end, I show a little, the difference of them. And it was a pleasant surprise, let me say, as to what the outcome was. Check out for that video coming out. I'll probably drop that on Wednesday or Thursday. And that's it. I'll do that little price comparison, and I'll do the books that came out this week. And basically I've been very busy lately, but I still try to, you got to keep connecting with everybody, and I don't want to leave everybody hanging out. So I know I've been doing the preview show, and I've been doing the comics that came out this week, and I just want to, whatever the cost is, I want to keep doing those shows and then throwing in whatever I have in the middle of it.
Nice.
So that's what I got. And also, I passed 400 subs, so I'd just like to thank everybody out there who has gotten me to that point.
Nice.
And at some point, we will be doing the 400 sub shout out / show, and we'll do the giveaways, we'll do all that stuff. But I just want to throw it back to the community as a thank you for getting me there, and then we'll do the 500 at some point, and then we'll take it from there. So
Congrats,
thank you.
man. Very nice.
And before we go, I did want to mention, I put it in the chat, but I would not want to forget mentioning the Comic Book Community Awards. The nominations are open. Support your favorite creators out here doing the damn thing. Show them some love. Support this great community that we have built up here. I just got a piece of it here at Heroes Con, and I love it so much. So if you got people out here doing the damn thing and you want to see more of it, get over to that website, cbcawards.org. Show them some love. And there is a category specially built for your man, Gary B., the casual comic book guy, the Community Developer Award. Nobody else should ever win that award. So definitely get over there and get my man
thanks, buddy.
locked in on that and support all your favorite guys, man. I want to make this thing bigger and better this year. So let's have some fun with it. No butt hurtness, no crying about it. Just have fun, man. It's all fun and games.
Yeah, and I think that's an amazing award show. I just want to throw my 2 cents out there. People in the past have had issues with it. It doesn't matter. Like it
does not matter.
It doesn't matter. We're out here having fun, and whether we win an award or not, it's all.
My approach is to that whole thing is it going to change the way I make content? Absolutely not.
No.
If you're out here to win some award, you need to be somewhere else. Like
it's all, and well, for me, it's not about winning. It's about showcasing the people, everybody who got nominated. So it's one of those, it's cheesy, but it's an honor just to be nominated. It really freaking is, as far as I'm concerned. So it's not really about the winners. It's, for me, it's about the show and showcasing all of us. I don't know if anybody watched the show last year, but
I did.
There was a lot of comic book content creators coming in and contributing to it, and having Reggie jump in and live, and then Bueller jump in live. All that stuff was super, super fun. Way better than I even dreamed it would be when it was first created last year. So I saw what Brian was doing. I really saw his vision, and I think this thing can be really cool, man. And I hope we can get some buy-in this year.
Yeah. And I thought the first year blew away my expectations.
Way better. Obviously, it wasn't perfect, but it was way better than I thought it would be. That's for damn sure.
So I'm ready for I'm ready for second season.
Let's go. So get your nominations in, folks.
Coming up later this week on my channel, we have Daily Suspense on In the Hot Seat with the usual subjects. We have part 2 of this Saturday for my Savage Saturday comic review. We're doing Conan the Barbarian, issue 85, which is part 2 of Zula's origin. And no, the original Zula was not Grace Jones, although she is spectacular. So don't anyone hate on Grace Jones, because I'll have to fight you. But Zula was a great character in Conan Comics, and I hope we see him in the live screen at some point. And so we're continuing that storyline. And anyone out there who has a comic channel, if you're watching the 1011, if you're watching In the Hot Seat with the usual suspects, and you are interested in being a guest, I am Gary B., the casual comic guy on Instagram. Reach out to me. Now, if I haven't reached out to you, I just may not have come across you yet. So don't take it as being snubbed. I just may not know you yet. As far as I love Disney and comics and psychedelic comics, I saw you guys in the chat. I'd like to reach out to you guys and get you guys on the programs. But as always, guys, thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting my co-host. Thank you for supporting my guest. Thank you, Marcus. Really appreciate you coming on. Thank you, Cuppy. Always a pleasure. It's been too long since we actually got to talk, and I really enjoyed it. But until next time, guys, keep it casual.